All right, break time is over and we are back. Very many thanks for choosing to stay with us. It feels absolutely great to be in your company in this hour. And in case you're just joining us, welcome to Kenya's Gold, where the focus of the day is on learning a lot more on regenerative agriculture. And to shed more light on that, we do have the distinct honor of being joined by Mr. Fred Ochieng from BioVision Africa. Welcome to Kenya's Gold.
Thank you very much, Ngina. I'm really grateful that I'm here today to contribute to this important subject. I got the opportunity to watch the earlier clip, the session that was very good. I'm actually wondering whether are you an expert or in
I've become an expert because
agriculture.
Thank you so much. It's because of people like you. We learn a lot. So we're very happy to have you here because I know by the time we are done, my knowledge will be way up there. So great. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so just jumping straight into the conversation, we do want to understand a lot more when it comes to regenerative agriculture. But first, tell us a bit more on BioVision Africa and also the projects that you're doing with farmers across the country.
Thank you very much, Kina, and for this opportunity. My name is Frederick Ochieng. I work for BioVision Africa Trust, which is a Kenyan organization, but with a mandate to support agriculture work in Kenya and also the continent. And at BioVision Africa Trust, I head the Farmer Communication Program, which is one of our programs. We also have two other programs, the Ecological Organic Agriculture Initiative, which is continental in scope. And the other program is the Knowledge Center for Organic Agriculture for the Eastern region, Eastern African region, again, where we tackle issues around sustainable agriculture, agroecology, and now where regenerative agriculture comes in.
Right.
So we are very glad that we have this opportunity to give our contribution, especially as we tackle the agenda of food security and its sustainability.
Right. So where are your services felt? Like we've seen the projects in Makueni, but where else are you? How disseminated are your services as of now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. As I've mentioned that BioVision Africa Trust, we have interventions here in Kenya. Currently, more directly in 13 counties. So Makueni is just one of the counties where we have teams in the field working very closely with the county government and also other like-minded organizations.
Right.
And in that, we also work very closely with other organizations like KALRO. In fact, KALRO hosts two of our centers in Machakos. We are right inside KALRO Katumani in Kakamega. They are hosting one of our resource centers there. And our head office based in Nairobi are within Isipe complex, Kasarani.
Great. Now, this week was very significant when it comes to all matters environment because we were also marking the World Environment Day, which is a very key conversation that we need to be having with our farmers. We want to know, as BioVision Africa, what more are you doing so that we don't make this day just a day in the calendar when we are all out there on that particular day talking about the environment, and the rest of the 364 days, we're not doing a lot more about it. What are you doing to make sure that we maintain that momentum all through the year?
Yeah, very important. That's really a pertinent question because when we talk about agriculture and we talk about the environment, then the immediate question would be, what's the relationship?
Yes.
And I would want to say that perhaps agriculture is one of the sectors that directly depends on the environment and its health. So it is in the best interest of agriculture that we have a healthy environment. And therefore the question would be that the kind of agriculture, the kind of agriculture that we do and has been done, has it been supportive to the health of the environment? I must say that in many ways I would say maybe not, because agriculture, and this is documented, contributes to nearly over 35% of emissions, the carbon dioxide emissions, and therefore resulting into the climate change that we all know and talk about.
All right.
But also more directly in terms of pollution of our immediate environment. You're talking about our water bodies, the rivers, the soil that agriculture really depends on, to a large extent has been interfered with, simply because of our conventional practices, how agriculture has been practiced over the years. And therefore, it has become a big issue and a big discussion, because we have to therefore relook at how we practice agriculture. If we are going to interfere with the environment in the manner, I would say to a large extent we have done that, then it puts us in a very precarious situation, because then it means that we may never be able to produce our food in a way that would say we produce adequate food, safe food, and at the same time guaranteeing its sustainability for the coming generations.
Right.
So I would say the discussion around environmental health and agricultural production and its sustainability is very, very critical.
Right. Talk to that farmer who's now trying to understand when we say the way we have been interfering with our environment, even as farmers, is going to make sustainability in the space of agriculture very difficult. What are some of these practices that farmers do, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, that are causing this problem that we are facing right now?
I would say foremost, when you look at the farm, what happens at the farm? I think the farmer's immediate interest will be with regard to soil health. And that's very critical. And I would say this is actually the backbone of our production. And therefore, the practices that a farmer would put in place or apply will either enhance the soil health or, in a way, degrade that. As I mentioned earlier, that the conventional practices largely have resulted to the state of our poor soils. Again, this is very well documented in terms of the quality of our soils, which are declining. In fact, it is in that's where we derive the name regenerative agriculture, because our soils have been so much degraded, and now we need to do certain things deliberately so that we can bring back its health.
Right.
And that's what we mean by regeneration.
Yes.
Because our soils are badly depleted. So if a farmer has to really ensure that is done, then they have to put into place certain practices. So the soil health has to do the components of soil. You'll talk about the microorganisms, for example, that thrive in the soil. So the question would be, if I'm, for example, applying chemicals, are they chemicals that would enhance the survival of those microorganisms that are very important as far as soil fertility is concerned? The issue of soil, protecting the soil from erosion and all that.
Right.
So there are so many practices that would either make the soil thrive and make the soil health better or degrade that.
Great.
And one of those, I would say that the application of some of the synthetic inputs, be they fertilizers, be they pesticides or herbicides, by and large have contributed to the state of our soils as we have them today. And also I would want to add that our farmers, many a time, they are not well informed with regard to some of the practices that would actually enhance the improvement of the quality of soil. For example, some of the structures that will help a farmer harvest water, especially in areas that we tend not to have a lot of rainfall. There are so many practices that a farmer would actually put in place. And in cases where farmers have not had this kind of knowledge and skills, then our soils have been badly eroded, and that also contributing to the state of soils that we have, the poor soils that we have. All
right. Now, one of the strategies in regenerative agriculture is we're urging our farmers to practice agroforestry and also to grow more fruit trees in their farm. We'd like to know, for success with that practice, is there a way we need to position our trees? How do you do that so that also you make sure that we are adhering to this, what we are calling regenerative agriculture?
Yes, regenerative agriculture, we actually discuss about this, and what we do this in the context of agroecology, which is broader in scope. And that's very important because the current issues that affect our agriculture has a lot to do with so many issues. It is about the quality of soil, it's about the issue of the soil cover, for example. In some aspects, it's the issue of skills, for example, that farmers do have. Do they actually have the skills, the requisite skills for them to apply some of this knowledge that has been researched and they are available for use? So it's a combination of many things. And that also includes a kind of the crops that a farmer can have on his or her farm, including the trees. Trees actually are also crops.
Yes.
There are trees that we call them fruit trees, and there are also trees that serve other purposes. Now, when talk about agroecology, we are saying that if our agriculture will be sustainable at the farm level, but also even broadly, then we have to do things in such a way that we mimic nature. If you'd walk to any forest, now that you're talking about trees,
yes,
you not see a single strand of trees like you'd see maybe in a man-made forest, for example, where you'd probably find a whole swath of blue gum or cypress or other trees. So you'll always find there's a lot of diversity. So we are encouraging farmers that on the farm, if you're having trees, then we also want to see the diversity, because they serve different purposes with regard to how they contribute to soil health, but also other benefits that a farmer will derive from these trees.
Right.
So a mix of it would be very critical. And that's why I would say that if I work in any farm, that I would say a farmer is applying and have embraced these agroecological and regenerative agriculture practices, then I would want to see diversity. There are these large trees, small trees, different species, and that is very critical. Because that now brings you closer to what actually nature has, and I think we have nature to learn from. All right,
a fantastic conversation that we are having right here with Fred Ochieng on what we can do when it comes to ecosystem restoration. We are taking another break right now, but when we come back, we'd like to know a lot more on what we can do when it comes to gender equality and social inclusion in the conversation on ecosystem restoration. That and a lot more when we come back from the short commercial break.